morning all, it's Denise and I'm in my studio. It's a Thursday morning, and since my studio session last week, I believe I was showing you how I finished off the 3 pieces I was working on during my solo art show and how I framed them. And just to keep you up to date, I had a solo show coming off the back of an art walk, art fair, and I needed a little R&R, so I took off to the mountains. And when I came back this week, I found out 2 of my pieces had won awards at the San Diego Fair Fine Art Show, which was pretty exciting. And I'm still kind of winding down from having all my art still in bags and not stored away yet. I'm not really ready to get into another project, although I have a couple things percolating. So I'm just finding things to kind of keep my hands busy and maybe conjure up some new creative ideas. But what I like to do is I like to just piddle around with things. I like to call it happy hands at home. Not really art projects, but they're just projects, little creative things that kind of keep the creative juices flowing without actually creating a new piece of art. So I'm going to talk to you about what I'm doing with that this week. I've been playing while I was in the mountains, and while I've been here not creating art, I've just kind of been playing with some board books, and it's more about relaxing. It's more about not worried about the outcome, not worried about an art show and the art you're going to put in, and will it sell, will I have to store it, all of those things that go along with the art business, the business of being an artist. Sometimes you just need a break. So this is how I take a break. I just will play with the technique, play with something that, you know, we always have those things when we're busy working that we put on the back burner, like, oh, I really want to do that, but I don't have time to do it right now. And my little board books are one of them. I love doing these little guys. So I'm sure there are many videos on YouTube on layouts that you could do with a board book, or any art journal. This could be any art journal. But I'm going to just talk about how I get these things started and what I do. I'm not even ready to put any concrete ideas in it. I just want to lay the groundwork. So I'm going to share that with you. And I think that's all I have this week. I do know another thing for all of the people that are local to San Diego, who are in range of my studio and seeing my art, that I have had many requests to teach workshops again. So I'm kind of playing around with that idea, and if you're local and you're not on my newsletter list, go down in the description below and you'll find a link to my website where you can sign up to my newsletter, and you'll know what I'm cooking up for that, to do some workshops coming up in the near future, live workshops here in San Diego, probably close to Liberty Station. I'm not really sure. I'm still playing with the plan, but sign into my newsletter and you'll be up to date on everything good to know. And with that, I am going to switch cameras and take you down to the table and play around with my board books, and I hope you enjoy it. And not only is it a fun thing to do, but it's also fun to go thrifting and find kids' board books to work in, because I'll talk more about board books when I'm down here at the table. But thanks for being here. If you get a moment, hit that thumbs up and hit subscribe, because you know that's really important to us YouTubers, and you know it's what keeps me showing up. So thanks for doing that. Have a wonderful weekend. Have a fantastic week, and I will see you next week. Bye. Okay, so here we go. Here's the little board books that I have that are just, you know, they're just meditative. Just to take scraps of paper, little things that you find. I love this. Red cats look best in stripes. you know, little things that you find and you hang on to, and, you know, why not put them in a little book? Look how cute that is. I love little stuff like this. This is one that I was working on the last couple of weeks, and I worked on it while I was on our little vacation up in the mountains for a couple of days. And these are not finished pages. These were just pages that were meant to cover what was going on in the board book and set me up to come back and add something into them. So these are pretty much just scraps of paper that I had, you know, that I keep in my little scrap box. And I'm gearing this one towards more black and white and neutrals. So this also gives me a place to play with new color palettes and maybe some new shapes and designs. I'm going to set that one here. This one I just started, and literally this is really a lot of scraps that I have, and a magazine that I happen to have on me while I was on the trip. Not happy with this one, but it doesn't really matter. I just laid papers to cover up what was going on in the book. I don't even remember what the title of this little book is, but I found it in a vintage store in the mountains while we were up there, and I paid $1 for it. So not often you get good art supplies for $1. I'm going to use this paper in there, so I don't want to lose that. And I think I want to use this one to cover up part of what I don't like here. But the important thing about board books is it's hard to do them without making some adjustments at first, because you can't tear pages out like you do in a normal altered book so that it will still lay flat, because you just really can't tear these pages out. And you start building up with the papers that you add, especially some of my papers are really textured. So what you do need to do before you get started is the back, the cover that goes over the whole book needs to be cut. So you just take your very sharp little X-Acto knife, and you take that front cover and you just slice it off and open it up. You're not cutting anything else, you're just cutting that cover. And then already the book lays down flat. You can see on this book, I'm hoping you can see right here, this is how wide the book was originally. There's the end of the cover. I expanded it by this much space. That looks like by a ½ an inch at least, by adding pages in here. So I cut that, and then when I came back, I retaped it, I glued it, and I added a piece of fabric that I had stitched as my binding, my cover. So now it opens up really nicely and it closes. So I'm pretty happy about that one. I like also that the books are pretty tough. As far as it's a board, it's not paper. So if I don't like something, I can come back and sand over it. Like, I'm not really liking any of this. So, and you have to be really careful. I just hit the tip of that knife and cut my finger. Ouch. Okay, I'm back with a bandage. I can't believe I did that. I just hit that tip, and be very careful of your knives. So anyway, I can not only just sand this, I do like to go and sand my edges. Sand the edge of the book. Now, I'm not really doing a junk journal. You know, where you have the pages all hanging out. I'm doing, you know, I want it a little cleaner than that. And this is a good way to get rid of those ragged papers. and create a nice clean edge. So that's another reason to use board books, because you can rough them up a little bit, like that little piece. Kind of like what that's doing. You never know what's going to show up. And it's doing something like this that you kind of go, hey, I'm going to sand one of my cradle boards and try to get that effect. There's a lot of cool effects that you get from, you know, things other than a paintbrush. Anyway, that's one thing to do. So, you know, this is really, these papers make no rhyme or reason. I'm pretty much just using papers in these. I don't know that I'll go in with any paint, but who knows, I might. And this is a piece out of a magazine. It was a sky that I put in there. And then I found this little guy, which was a little house cut out for something, little piece of art I was doing. So I'm going to go ahead and lay that in here. Now, one thing I do want to point out, this is a heavier paper. Let me make sure I'm in view. This is a heavier paper, so I don't know that I really want to go over the edge, the center line. So I'm just going to give that a quick cut. I'm going to save that. I think I'm going to tear this. And I'm going to tear it with the white edge showing because I like that. And I'm using a matte medium, a liquid matte medium. Probably a gel might be better for this paper because it's a heavier paper. But I want to make sure I get out all the way to the edge. And I'm sure y'all know how to collage, different collage things that you do. May have cut off a little more than I wanted to because I want this to come out to the edge. And then I'm just going to go over that. Really simple. And like I said, this is just a relaxing little exercise. You know, when you're in between projects, when you really don't have anything serious that you're working on. Now I think I'll take this guy. And put him right here on the opposite page. And really, I am just showing you today, talking about today, a relaxing project. I'm really not looking to finish anything. I do want to say that this book, I'm doing more neutrals and earth tones. This one I've decided that is going to be brighter colors. Let's see, that's kind of fun. You don't have to be precise. I mean, nobody's going to see this but you. Let me bring this right over to the edge. One last thing I have to trim. And like with all collage, you have to come back and babysit your papers and make sure that you're not getting ripples and, ripples and wrinkles. Now this, don't want to put this to waste, so maybe I'll just float that in there for the heck of it. Maybe not. There we go. And I gotta put something in there to make that go away. I do have the little house here, and it is pink. Let's see, a piece of paper. It's good to have a good pair of cutting scissors. Maybe I just want to tear that. Now let me see, is this, I wish I'd put that pink down first. Let me see if I can pull this up. I can, and I cannot. But sometimes that pulling up creates even more interesting textures. There we go. Let's get rid of that. Come on. That will fit right in there. And that's a piece of torn off paper from a jelly print that I did. So, you know, it makes no sense. It's just fun to do. It's just fun to do things that you're not really too worried about the end result. And then what I do is I take, typically you want to wait until the papers are dry before you do this because it works a little bit better. But I just take my sharp X-Acto knife and kind of just back it up. Get rid of the excess paper. And the rest of this ragged edge, once this is dry, I'll cut it off. It cuts much nicer when it's dry. And then I'll sand it down. But meantime, I want to get this color over here too. Do I even care about that little house? Do I want this to be the little house? Let me see. I can't pick that paper up. Let me see. That would make the most sense. There's my little pitch. That doesn't really fit in there, but I kind of like something showing through it rather than something being on top of it. So maybe I'll just add this as another house in the neighborhood. Yeah, let's do that. I want to make it there. You know, it could be kind of fun. It'd be kind of fun to cut a couple little houses. There's a little house, another little neighborhood house. Let's make a tall, skinny house. Yeah, that's a good little start to that page. Who knows where it's going to go from here. I have a couple more pages to do. And then when I'm all done with the insides, getting them laid out, I'll go back and do the cover. So these are just literally scraps, you know, off my palette, papers that don't even match and go together, and somehow I'll bring them together. Now I do have some very small pieces of deli wrap I'm going to lay right in there so I can open this book, because this page bugs me a lot. And I think I'm going to put this, I was thinking of putting this right there. And of course you can lay deli paper in between your pages while you're working on them, so you don't get glue everywhere, if you're more comfortable with that. And then this is another jelly plate paper that I'm just gonna lay on there and not even be too concerned with how it you know, where it's placed, because it's like a painting, you know, it's just laying down the basics. And who knows, maybe I will paint over these. I don't really know, and it doesn't really matter, because right now I'm just kind of getting lost in the fun of it. Now I like this much better when I see it through something else. Let me see. Oh, yikes, I have another little piece of that paper. Let me see if I did that. I did that. It's not really big enough to do anything with. I think I kind of like that. And I cut off the white part because there's just a lot of excess paper I don't need. Although I do kind of like some of this. I like those numbers. Didn't want to lose those numbers. How about that? I'm going to go with that. Because I think some of this will still peek through. Now, better than it was, still not finished, but then I can take, you know, wait until it dries and I'll take that off. I can lay a piece of deli paper in there. Or I can just take my little book and stand it up and let the pages dry. And that's the nice thing about working on two books at once. When you're working on two books at once, while this one's drying, I can go back to the other one. So let's set him aside for a minute. And this guy, I was thinking what would be kind of fun is I want my shapes to be, you know, large. I don't know why. Just scraps of paper that I ripped off. So I've started playing in this a little bit. But I think what I would like is, let me see. I thought it would be fun on this just to turn it upside down and find a pencil and draw a couple things on it backwards without really paying attention to what is on the other side and just being surprised by what shows up there. So how about if we do some little jugs? Let's see. Exact isn't necessary. Now, if you're careful with how you're cutting, then you can also use the negative cutout space. All right, so those are a couple of fun little jars. They might look good here. And maybe one sitting. Well, that would be cute if it was smaller. Oh, I love that one. Look how fun that is. That's just a simple little, what the heck? I like that. And this is wallpaper. It was one of my neighbor's wallpaper, actually. And I think this is like the last bit of it I have. And I really like it because I think black and white make a really, really great statement. Adding a touch of black and white just makes things a little bit more sophisticated. Don't really want that right in the middle of that. I want it to go over top of it. I kind of like them to be on their own. The nice thing about wallpapers, most of them you can take off and lay them down again. I think I'm going to go all the way over here because I like that little bit of orange popping up on the other side, I think. Maybe not. No, maybe I do like this better. There you go. And I do like the matte medium. It dries nice and matte, which I like. I don't like things to be too shiny. And I think I might cut this guy. Give him a straight cut. Give him a little flat top. There. It's kind of a fun page. Good start to this page. And then what I like to do when I'm done with these is, let's see, can I do this? I don't really want to do it on any of these pages because I'm not done with them. But what I like to do so that the pages don't stick together, oh, let's see what we got here. This might be fun for another layout. Let me just see before I take this away. Could have even been fun for this one, and maybe it will still go in there. I like that. Okay, so I don't throw anything away. I'll somehow use it, especially since this is the last of that paper. But what I like to do, if you've done journals, you know that it's really easy for the pages to stick together. And I used to slip a piece of, deli paper in there. And this size deli paper, I have a whole huge packet of them, is really great to lay in between pages when the books are closed. But then when you go to look at the book, all these little deli papers fall out. So another thing you can do, I'm going back to my cold wax from last week, but you've got to make sure you're done with your book pages before you do this. And you can just put a little coating of the wax all over your book, your pages in your book. And I think I've already done it to this. And also, you know, I have papers coming across the edges of this one. You can hit the edges. You can just go all over it with your cold wax. And then, just like last week's cold wax finish on my paintings, you wait till it's dry. You know, I just set them up and let them sit and dry. And then come back and buff it out, and your book pages don't stick together. And there you go. That's what I got for you this week, because I'm just having a fun play week. And this, making a video for my YouTube channel, was one of the only things I needed to do. I love doing it, and it's on my schedule. It keeps me focused. It keeps me structured, so I show up every week. But this was the only thing I had to do. So there you go. I don't know what next week holds. I have a couple things coming up. I have a commission piece that I need to work on. I have some other stuff. I can't think of them right now, but that's because I've just been not thinking about business so much, and just thinking more about playing with the scraps, seeing what I come up with, and kind of get the juices flowing for something else. So thank you so much for being here. And I do got to put these couple little dots that I picked up off the ground. These were out of a paper punch. So as long as they're sitting there, I may as well add them to my piece. And yeah, thanks for being here, and I will see you next week.